There we go. Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. Just getting me set up here. So today, actually, I want to talk to you about a few different items on the second live stream. If you haven't noticed by the title, I want to talk about a cyber attack that happened this past week. And it's quite interesting, actually. I had to dive into it for part of my work, just to keep up on things. But we'll get into that shortly here. Okay, awesome. So today I want to talk to you guys about what's been going on. It's been a beautiful week, very productive week, very exciting week as well, and very busy. And I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of things that are coming. A lot of things that are in the works, a lot of things that I'm doing. I feel very energized, not just for this channel, but just in life in general. Life is good, man. It's been good. Went to church this morning, got to worship the Lord and hang out with a few awesome people. And I'll be going to another, I guess, men's meeting, or men's, what's it called? Men's group this evening. So fun times to be had. But yeah, I wanted to give you an update on this channel. So if you've been around for a little bit, I have certain products and certain services that I'm working towards, right? So I'm taking a tiered approach. So I have, ideally, I want 5 different things going on this channel. So obviously I have the live streams. So continuing to improve on this, trying to figure out exactly what I should be doing with these live streams. And going from there, I also have the 5-minute videos, just talking about one specific topic related to crypto and cybersecurity, and I think that's going quite well. I do like the thumbnails. I'm kind of experimenting with the thumbnails right now. So I have, I guess, the banner, so the border, I should say. It's actually well, it's the pulse chain colors, if you haven't realized. So I love that. I love that I'm doing that. But also just experimenting what works and what doesn't. It's so cool to see what actually does get views and what doesn't. And I guess on that topic, posting shorts is actually a good way to get views, I find now. And it's like, I'm taking these shorts. I don't want to inundate people a whole lot with these shorts. I'm trying to find the best I guess 30 seconds or 1-minute clips on my channel for the past week and just turn that into a clip or a short. And it seems to be working quite well. So I do like that. And it's funny because I'm also using a lot of different tools, specifically in AI. So I guess back up a little bit. So in my business, I have a side business and actually is growing quite rapidly at this point. I do web development. I do anything technology based. We're solutions based. We're designing solutions. We're building solutions for people, and not just for other people, but for myself as well, for the internal processes that we have at our company. And so I've been doing that in the back end, and I've been experimenting with all of these AI tools, and it's so fascinating. And so I started about 2 or 3 weeks ago on this, and I decided, hey, you know what? Let's decide to integrate AI and offer a free service on this channel. So one of the things I did was I developed an AI solution that scoured the internet to find the best news on crypto. Yes, there's about 10 or 15 official sources that are actually pretty good, in my opinion, just scouring the internet to keep up to date on what's happening in the crypto sphere. However, I don't have time. I don't have time to scour the internet anymore. A few years back, yeah, of course I did. But now I'm just so inundated with things to do. I need to figure out a way to become more efficient. And so that's where AI came into play. It was like, hey, you know what? Let's spend an hour or two trying to figure out how to develop a solution to aggregate all of this data and then send it to not only myself every single day, but to you guys as well as a free service. Now, it costs a bit of money in the back end. That's whatever. The value is already there. However, the past couple days, the solution kind of failed. And what happened was the service I was using kind of eliminated one of the processes that kind of made the solution happen. So that was kind of shocking to me. It was like, oh crap, I developed this thing and then not even a week later it breaks. It's like, okay, well, can I fix it? Can I improve upon it? And in order to improve upon it, they want $20,000 to do so. I'm not going to do that. So I found another solution. So I spun up a Telegram chat. So if you look in the description below, I believe I put it in the description below for this live stream. It's called Crypto Security Chat, or the CSA chat, or CSA Telegram, or something like that. Anyways, there I will be posting news articles on the various things that are happening in crypto and cybersecurity. So just so you are aware, I used to have an email list. There was actually quite a few of you guys on that one. Unfortunately, that has now ceased, and now we're moving to this Telegram channel. And so I'll be posting things every day, and we can have a good conversation there. So look forward to that. So that's one of the service offerings, getting back to the service and product level offerings here. So the second one is I developed a website about 4 to 6 months ago called Cyber Soldier. Now, Cyber Soldier is a free tool, and it provides cyber awareness for the everyday user. And so if you're not too technical, I highly suggest you go check out this website that I developed. It's actually kind of a fun little adventure that you go through. There's like 5 stages. You're on a mission to become a cyber soldier, and to become a cyber soldier, you got to go through and learn about phishing and malware and all the different social engineering attacks that happen. And hopefully you can prevent those from happening. And at the very end, there's a little surprise. I won't spoil it. But yeah, that website link is also in the description below. So check that out, free to use. I had a lot of fun developing it, and I've been sharing it with the people I know, and they're having fun with it too. So it's been fun. Another one is my book. So I wrote a book. It's called The Citadel, How to Secure Your Crypto. There we go. This is the author's copy, so it says not for resale. But it is a book that I developed a couple months back, and I realized, you know what? There's not a whole lot of people talking about cybersecurity in the crypto space. We always talk about segregating your wallets, making sure you have strong passwords, but really, at the end of the day, we don't go past that. And that's a major issue, right? I've been in the cybersecurity space only for 4 years, but because I'm a consultant, I get access to so many insider information on certain companies that I've worked in pretty much every industry at this point. I have kind of an acting senior executive position at one firm with roughly about 5,000 people underneath that I guess I'm responsible for helping prevent cyber attacks from. But it's been very interesting, and I've pretty much seen it all at this point. So I want to offer that value somewhere. And that's what this channel is for. And it's like, hey, you know what? There's a need that needs to be filled here in the crypto space. And I am doing my best to provide as much value as I can. I'm offering as much free services, content as I possibly can. However, at the end of the day, I do have to weigh the balance of my time versus what is worth it at the end of the day. And so that's where my book comes in. The Kindle version is $5, roughly. If you're in the States, it's a bit cheaper. Because I live in Canada, everything's inflated to, yeah, God knows where. And then there's the paperback, and the paperback is roughly $10. So pretty affordable, in my opinion. And of course, if you want one-on-one time, I have my consultation service. And so that's where we can talk one-on-one, anything crypto or cybersecurity related. The one thing I do avoid talking about is your own personal investments. I am not a financial advisor, nor do I want to be. It's hard enough keeping track of my own stuff. So there are 4 offerings there, and I'm thinking about a 5th one, but we'll see how the channel grows and see how much different things that are coming in my experience in the cyberspace. I was actually thinking of spinning up a scam consulting service where it's like, you can come to me, or I develop a tool. Here, you can do this. This is an idea for you if you have the time and money to do so. You can spin up a service where you can spit out a report or to determine what is a scam and what is not. I think that would be highly valuable. I might offer that in the future. We'll see. Another thing was teaching a course on cybersecurity. I mean, you can just scour online for that, but I think I could provide value to some degree, but I don't think there's the value there just yet. I think I got to wait another 6 months to a year to actually flesh out the ideas and deliver it in the best way possible. So there's that idea. And then I had one more. What was it? Had to do with like, I don't know. It escapes me. But anyways, we are growing this channel bit by bit, and there's slow improvements over time. And speaking of slow improvements, I didn't actually turn on my my light here. First off, it's blinding, but then if you turn it down a bit, don't look too deathly. There we go. Awesome. So that is the channel updates. So without further ado, I would like to get into the latest crypto security news, or in this case, it's more cyber news than anything. I find this very interesting. So I will share my screen. So this past week, we had MGM Grand and Caesars Entertainment. They actually had a cyber attack. Now this is actually quite interesting. It's not directly related to crypto, but those who are in Vegas usually are in the money financial sphere. And so, you know, it's kind of adjacent to crypto, but I want to talk about this. So I got notified this as soon as it appeared in the news. And so I'm just going to walk through this and give my comments. So September 13th, Reuters. A hacking group named Scattered Spider brought down the systems of the $14 billion gaming giant MGM Resorts this week. Two sources familiar with the matter said as U.S. law enforcement officials started a probe into the breach. Several MGM systems remained paralyzed for a third straight day after it said on Monday it had shut down some of them to contain a cybersecurity issue. Now, anytime someone says a cybersecurity issue in public, it usually means ransomware has occurred. So just for your information. The company, which operates over 30 hotels and gaming venues around the world, including the Macau and Las Vegas, said it was investigating the issue. So this is a tweet that they sent. And so this is a messaging that they sent to everybody who experienced that cyber attack. So we'll just read this briefly, and I want to give my comments on this. MGM Resorts recently identified a cybersecurity issue affecting some of the company's systems. Promptly after detecting the issue, we quickly began an investigation with assistance from leading external cybersecurity experts. We also notified law enforcement and took prompt action to protect our systems and data, including shutting down certain systems. Our investigation is ongoing, and we are working diligently to determine the nature and scope of the matter. So, they cut right to the chase, first of all. Good on them. You don't necessarily want to always butter up people when there's a very important matter to discuss. So they put the bottom up top. So that's a good thing. Investigation is always going to be ongoing. It's most likely going to be ongoing for at least the next few months as they discover how the attacker got in and what systems they affected, how much data was exfiltrated, and the impact if, let's say, they continue to spin up like let's say respin up backups and whatever, does the attacker still have access into their environment? So these types of issues can actually go for a long time. A Bloomberg report separately said another casino operator, Caesars Entertainment, had been hacked and paid the ransom to hackers who threatened to leak its data in recent weeks, citing two people familiar with the matter. Now, I looked into the two people familiar with the matter, and it's not really official. They were more anonymous tweets, and so just take that with a grain of salt. But I believe at this point in time, Caesar did come out and say, yeah, we did pay a ransom. Now, it's very interesting when you're running a company. So let me just share back here. So when you're running a company, let's say you're running a $100 million company and ransomware hits your environment. Well, you have to determine what is more riskier. Paying, let's say, a 20 or $30 million ransom to get in the hopes of getting your systems back up and running, or you risk the $20 million and your business is shut down until you can figure out some way to bring it back. And that, we always say you don't want to pay the ransom, but in reality, when push comes to shove and you have everyone in the world just looking at you and tens of millions, perhaps hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, sometimes you have to pay that ransom. And this is the unfortunate thing about working in cybersecurity, is that we have all these cybersecurity controls in place. We're doing our due diligence. We're doing a risk analysis on this type of thing. If in the event ransomware were to occur, how many systems would it affect? Do we have a playbook that we can use that provides step-by-step on how exactly we want to approach this from the business point of view, but also the technical point of view? Now, at a certain point, things get so chaotic that usually that playbook just gets thrown to the side, and then you just kind of do your best as time goes on, because there's so many different things to account for, so many different variables, that it's much better just to get everyone in a room, hash it all out. There's going to be swearing and gnashing of teeth, but that seems to be a lot better than just following a playbook. But a playbook does provide the framework in which you can help. So we'll go back to the article here. Shares of Caesars Entertainment and MGM both fell, so that's also a major concern when a cybersecurity attack does happen. The cause and the full impact of the breaches was not immediately clear, although social media posts showed slot machines and systems down at MGM venues in Las Vegas. So I got to be very careful here, because I want to share what I know about the security of these systems. It is almost impossible to hack slot machines. Think about that. And how the attacker can actually do this is beyond me. So they're very sophisticated. Keep that in mind. Two sources familiar with the matter told Reuters the hacking group Scattered Spider was behind it. So there are various hacking groups in this world, and of course there's one called Scattered Spider. Identified by the analysts last year, this group uses social engineering to lure users into giving up their login credentials, or one-time passwords, OTPs, to bypass multi-factor authentication. So let me break this down. What is social engineering? Social engineering is essentially I trick you to do something. If I send you a friend request on Facebook, I'm going to make sure that my friend request looks legit. And I want you to click accept on that friend request. That's all my goal is. And then once you accept that friend request, I now have access to your profile, and I can gather and make further attacks on you. So social engineering is just tricking someone. And usually social engineering, we want to gather someone's password. And so you see this in a phishing attack. A phishing attack, so you get an email, an unsuspected communication via email, and it says, hey, you won this, or it plays on your emotions. Oftentimes you'll have a phishing email that says, hey, you won $10,000. Click here to claim it, right? Or you'll have another email that says, hey, this is your boss, and he's speaking from a power position, or from authority, and he's trying to convince you that, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose my job, or I'm going to lose access to an account if I don't take this action. And so anytime emotions are involved, we want to take a step back. We want to make sure that we are conscious of the differences between what is real and what is not. The chances of your boss coming to you and saying, hey, in an email, I need you to get this done ASAP, quite frankly, is quite minimal. Because what they'll most likely do instead is they'll call you up. They'll do a video conference. Hey, do you have a minute? Then they'll bring it up, and it's like, then you can chat one-on-one, right? But when emotions are involved, we do stupid things all the time, right? So we just want to be aware of that. Also, multi-factor authentication. So usually when we have an account, it's good practice to enable MFA, or multi-factor authentication. Now in the past, this used to come to your phone, and this used to be like a text message, right? With like a 5 or 6 digit PIN. Well, that can be more insecure these days. The better way to do it is to have an app, or an authentication app, and then it sends you a code every minute or so. And so that provides an additional layer of security. So I want to take a step back even further and describe what cybersecurity is. Cybersecurity is many layers of protection. So we call it the security onion. So you have let me just go back here. You have an onion, right? And an onion has many layers. And so one of the main layers you will have is your password. So that's your main layer, right? And then underneath that, you'll have multi-factor authentication. So if you didn't have multi-factor authentication, all the attacker would have to do is get your password. But now, since you are a good cybersecurity awareness guy or girl, you have enabled multi-factor authentication on your account, and now they have to get your password plus that code. And the possibility and the chances of them getting both within a specified time frame is actually quite minimal. So there is that. It is one of the most prevalent and aggressive threat actors impacting organizations in the US today. So that is from a report from Mandiant Intelligence. Although members of the group may be less experienced and younger than many of the established multifaceted extortion ransomware groups and nation-state espionage actors, say that 10 times fast, they are a serious threat to large organizations. Scatter Spider, also known as UNC 3944, has hit telecom and business process outsourcing companies in the past, but more recently also targeted critical infrastructure organizations, according to analyst reports. So, this is critical. We rely on critical infrastructure. We rely on roads. We rely on pipelines. We rely on the electricity grid. We rely on the internet or our ISPs. What happens when those get hacked? Well, it affects everyone, right? And so this is why it's so important that we take cybersecurity seriously. And oftentimes than not, a lot of these companies, these major billion-dollar corporations, don't take cybersecurity seriously until something like this happens. Unfortunately. I'm going to try and skip down here a little bit. Okay, so a report that I read the first time, actually, I think went into depth a little bit more. So anytime that you see multiple devices or multiple systems being breached, it does mean that there is a major lack of networking controls. So let me explain that here. So in cybersecurity, you have a network, right? You have your home network, you have your mobile device, you have your laptops, you have your desktops, right? And they connect to your router. Now your router is connected to the internet. That's the path, right? And in business, what you have is you have those devices that you use. It connects to what's called an access point. And so that provides your Wi-Fi and whatever. And then that access point goes usually towards a firewall. And what the firewall allows is you can segment various things. So for example, you can isolate your mobile device. You can isolate your desktop or laptop so that in the event something like this occurs, like ransomware occurs, these devices are isolated so that the incident is contained on one device or a subset of devices and not all of the devices. Now, as soon as we see impact to all of the devices, this is a major cause for concern, because what happens, and you can kind of think about this a bit, if there's no segregation, that means that all the devices are on the same network, which means if something happens on one device, it can spread to other devices. So I'm just kind of putting it out there, they might not have had enough segregation on the outset here. So that is the news I wanted to talk to you about today. It's so interesting, like these things. It's quite ridiculous that these hacks happen every single day. And that's why it's so important to be cyber secure in this day and age. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Hey, how's it going? Next thing I want to talk about is, well, what I'll be doing in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's called the Crypto Mindset course. And so I'm not a shill for them. I've taken many courses of Charlie and Miguel's before. And so if you are not in the know, there's a course called Crypto Mindset course. And what this course teaches is everything to do with crypto. And not only crypto, but it starts you at the very basics of what crypto is, how to use it. And then it teaches you and builds on it so that by the end of the course, you know enough that you can go on your own and do your own research. You can invest in your own projects. You can do risk analysis and risk management. You can secure your wallets. You can secure your crypto. You can do all sorts of things. And so I'll be taking that course with Charlie and Miguel. So Charlie is Cultivate Crypto on YouTube, and Miguel is Dollar Cost Crypto on YouTube. And so they are doing this together. And this time around, I think it's going to be really sweet. It's Q3 and Q4, so it's going to last probably next 2 to 3 months here. And I'm very excited for it. Really, really excited for it, actually. So if you're interested in any of that, you can do your own research and look them up on YouTube. And of course, I want to talk to you about book I'm reading. So in a previous video I did about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I made a point that you should never stop learning. Never. Once you get out of school, never stop learning. Once you get out of, let's say, your job, never stop learning. Always be learning something more, doing better, experimenting. You should always be taking at least somewhat of a bit of risk in this life, right? And that's what I've been doing for the past decade. I had a friend about a decade ago, and he has his PhD in, I think he's a chemical engineer at this point. But what he did with me was I went to university and I was just inundated with all these textbooks, all these readings. I had to read like 200 pages a day, something ridiculous. And he said, you know what? Here's one more book. And he physically brought me to the library. He went up to like the 3rd or 4th floor with me. He went to this very obscure section of the library. I'm just like, am I going to get killed? But he pulled out a book. And it was a book, it was called Mere Christianity. And the book title doesn't matter. But what he said is, you need to start taking responsibility for your own education. Once you get out of this environment, you should never stop learning. Because as soon as you stop learning, you're done, right? And he was true. He spoke truth, man. It hurt at the time because it's like, great, another book, right? You're not helping. But he did. And so since then, I've read over, oh my goodness, 150, 200 books on various subjects, various topics. I changed my entire career path. And in 4 years, I'm now in a senior executive position in cybersecurity. Who would have thought? A musician to a cyber expert, right? But that was simply because I never stopped learning. And so the book I'm learning about or reading about right now is called this. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And so I've always known that suffering, if you embrace suffering in the short term, that's actually a major contributor to success. So I've only suffered for the past 10 years, right? But you can see the success. Like, it's so funny when I talk to my peers, right? The peers around me, the just everyday folk around me, my neighbors or whatever, and I tell them what I do and what I'm up to, and it's like, wow, you're so inspirational. And it's like, well, not really. I just work hard. I've suffered a lot in this life. And when you embrace suffering, you learn, you grow, and you become better at everything you pursue. So I became a better cybersecurity professional. I've become a better public speaker. A little bit of backstory on that. I was classified as a mute growing up. I didn't talk to anybody because I didn't know really how to talk effectively. And here I am now. Look at that, right? Coming out of grade 12, my high school, I couldn't read a book. Now I wrote one. It's all because you're learning and growing and developing and you embracing suffering. And so bringing this back to crypto and cybersecurity, it's going to be a hard battle learning about how to secure your crypto. It takes a mindset shift. You want to make sure you do your due diligence for every single communication that comes your way. You want to make sure that you're changing all of your passwords, right? At least annually, at least, right? And you want to make sure that they're very strong passwords. That took me weeks. I had to redo all my passwords because I was using a password manager called LastPass. I do not recommend them. They got hacked multiple times in the past, and I just got fed up with them. I was like, hey, you know what? I have like 300 passwords. I'm going to transition them from them to another password manager. And I did that. It was so brutal, 300 passwords. And I had to do it manually because I didn't trust what LastPass was doing. But I did it, and now I'm significantly more secure because of it. Another thing is enabling MFA on all your accounts. 300 different accounts, Some accounts can have MFA enabled, others cannot, and making sure that you have a backup just in case the MFA passwords don't fail. You have backup recovery codes, you got to store those. And so it's a lot of work, right? But again, that's what you got to do to be secure in this day and age. Another thing, one more example here, is going through your social media profiles. I went through my Facebook timeline all the way from like 2008, 2009, and I deleted every single post I did not want to be shown anymore. That takes a lot of work, and a lot of patience too, because what Facebook does is, I think they only have like 1 year cached, or even 6 months cached. And then if you want to go back years, it takes from their cold storage database. And so it takes forever to load, right? And sometimes when you delete something, it doesn't delete it all the way. And so a lot of patience went into that. It took me like a month or two to get that done. But I did it on not only Facebook, but all these other social media platforms I am on. And so if you do your due diligence ahead of time, you avoid a lot of things, right? So those are just some examples from my personal life on how suffering can actually make you more secure if you embrace it in the right way. So usually I want to talk about 5 different topics. So we covered the channel updates, we covered crypto security news, we covered the crypto mindset course, which I'll be taking, and we covered the book that I am reading at this point in time. I have a blank for the 5th one here. So I think what I'm going to talk about is the next steps for this channel. Just kind of wrapping it all up in a nice little bow. So I'm taking a long-term approach on this channel. I want to look 2 years from now, look back 2 years from now and say, hey, you know what? I did something good. I want to make an impact. I see so many people losing money because of cybersecurity hacks that are very easily preventable most of the time. I talked to somebody, 4 people, but one person in particular, about a month or 2 ago. Because he clicked on a wrong link, he lost $100,000. He called it his life savings. These hackers are after your crypto, and they're not going to stop. It's only going to get worse. And a couple days ago, I got linked to a video from a prominent YouTuber. I've never heard of him before, but he has like 100,000 subs or whatever. And he lost 700,000. Needs to stop. So I am working hard. I want to provide as much value as I can. And if I can prevent at least one person from being hacked, my job is complete. So anyways, with that, I will leave you off with that. Kind of talking from my heart a little bit there and kind of seeing the bigger picture that the most important thing is people. People matter. It's not necessarily about the technology we use. It's not about all the money we lose. We can always gain it back. Like that's not the most concerning thing. The most concerning thing is when someone loses, let's say, $500,000 and they decide to off themselves, right? I want to prevent that. So I have more videos coming up. Every day I am doing a video, slow and steady, and I'm doing a live stream once a week. So, and expect to have at least 1 or 2 more projects come your way. Cybersecurity Awareness Month is coming in October. Every October, it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So actually, I've already developed 5 posters that I will share on either probably both my YouTube channel under the community section and my Telegram group. So I'll most likely pin it there as well. And it's just a fun little thing. I'm experimenting with using AI integration with cybersecurity plus crypto. So I already developed that. I'm very excited to release that in the coming month or so. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful. I hope this was beneficial for you. And I hope that you start to take action on securing yourself, securing your family's legacy, securing your systems. And until next time, take care. Bye.